Good evening, everybody. I'm Andrew Bolt. I'm your... Oh, thank you very much. Gosh, the easiest applause I've ever earned in my life. That should come in more often. I'm your MC for the night. There are many speeches. I'm going to keep mine very short. A lot of distinguished guests have been identified by name. In my view, everyone here is distinguished on these grounds. You are distinguished by your commitment to the kinds of freedoms that the IPA has been fighting for. The freedom to speak your mind, the freedom to associate with whom you will, the relative freedom to hire whom you will, the freedom to operate your business. These are freedoms to define our own happiness and freedom to work for it. I think it's emblematic that people coming here were harassed, some people tried to stop them from coming in, and all right, we can say they were just students. Some of them probably should have got their degree about 10 years earlier than that. It's obvious, but I was shocked that one of the guest speakers of the protest is a journalist that I know well. I think he took Rupert's dollar for a while and now is protesting. Maybe you didn't pay him enough, Rupert, I don't know. Now, in a way, we can laugh this off, but it's interesting that there is this strain of censoriousness of trying to stop people simply from meeting and talking. It's not just to say that they object. They can say they object by standing on the other side of the road. They can say they object by writing articles, publishing their own newspapers, which they do with lamentable success. But no, it was to stop you from coming. Now, it is not just the fact that these are students or ex-students or should have been students. These people represent a strain of thought that has been with us since, as Karl Popper said, since Plato and before that, and are always with us, and as we saw to our distress, even become ministers of the Gillard government. Perhaps they too were outside some meetings, I'm pretty sure of it, in their youths, trying to stop other people from speaking. They didn't learn the lesson of that immorality, and thus they tried to perpetrate what they failed to succeed in as students. They tried to perpetrate it as ministers, and I was shocked how few people fought this, how very few. Yes, there was News Limited, led by Kim Williams, who worked, in my opinion, heroically. I was dismayed how little the ABC had to say on this matter, dismayed how little the SBS had to say on this, dismayed by the fact that the Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission, which we fund to the tune of $38 million a year to defend human rights, was not defending this human right, but actually arguing the case to limit this right. And what I find really interesting is that the IPA, which does not get $38 million a year from the government, but zero, beat, in a sense, the Human Rights Commission. IPA, no funding, win. Human Rights Commission, 38 million, loss. The IPA gets nothing from the government but abuse, and yet it's been there on some of the big battles for freedom, and I know very, very personally which organisations defended my own right to speak a couple of years ago and which did not. And John, I will never forgive. I forgive those that didn't speak up for human rights, and I will never forget those that who defended it. And you, John, were among the most heroic, and personally that meant a lot to me, mate. and I don't betray confidences, but I will also thank for a visit I had one night at a very low moment, Tony Abbott. Of whom I will speak more later when it's his turn to speak. But it wasn't just the IPA that won the debate, whether it's on against the anti-discrimination laws or provisionally against the sort of laws that we use to stop me. The Liberal Party is promising to repeal some of the worst of the Racial Discrimination Act, and the IPA will, of course, be leading the charge to make sure that the rest also follows and that the Liberals do not take the easy option there. But it's hard to overestimate the impact of the IPA. It's very hard. You need only take the word of its enemies. For a start, if the ABC did not have the IPA's phone number, I wonder whether it would be searching to this day for that one Conservative voice it never manages to find. It's interesting, the organisation change.com, which is sort of like a get-up crowd, I think it's an ally to Get Up, isn't it, John? I'm not sure, I think it is. They ran a campaign that John referred to, where they said, how dare the ABC, of all the think tanks in the country, of the spokespeople it has on, 42% come from the IPA, 42%, and this is an outrage. Well, maybe it's an outrage that the ABC can't find anyone else, but I thought that was interesting. Now, consider this. The IPA gets nothing from the government, only what people like you will hopefully donate in big numbers tonight. The IPA gets nothing. It got 48% or 42% of the mentions on the ABC. The Grattan Institute, also in Melbourne, funded with $30 million by the Rudd and Brumby government to give an alternative point of view, alternative like the ABC's alternative, the SBS's alternative, and everyone, the same. It got 3%. IPA, no money, 42% of mentions. Grattan Institute, 38 million, 3%. I think if they were privatised, would they not work a bit harder? But it's not just the quantity of the IPA's activities, it's the quality of them. The IPA has been on the right side of many of the arguments for freedom, all the arguments for freedom since it was founded 70 years ago, and it was talking about freedom from government, socialising the economy. Now, like I say, it was founded with Labor in power, and it is it's now thriving with Labor in power. It thrives in adversity. That is clear. But its job will not be finished when an Abbott government is elected. I think politicians operate in a cultural space that they're allowed to operate in, usually by the media and various organisations. It is up to bodies like this to define what that cultural space is and should be, and to expand the boundaries, expand them, to allow politicians to do what their instincts might wish them to, but which their fear forbids. So it is not for you to treat this as a celebration night, job done. It is, there's a lot to be done. There is a lot to be done, and I hope that come the time when it's wallet time, that we will hear the sounds of things opening, because the work being done is sensational. 20-odd staff members, can you believe what your money has helped to achieve through these mere 20? And one of the most inspiring things about the IPA and John Roscombe is also, it is not just the talent, the experienced people doing it. The young people, aged 23 or even younger, just astonish me. Absolutely astonished me. There's a new generation